replication cycles are how viruses make copies of themselves in us. And think of viruses that's so tiny and we're huge. So in order to make us sick, they need to make copies of themselves. They need to replicate. That's called viral replication cycle. And it's so similar among all viruses, whether you're talking about HIV, coronavirus, flu virus, there's similarities. So I'm gonna explain what happens. So first, a virus has to attach to our cells. If a virus well, first you breathe it in. So if we think coronaviruses, it has to actually get in. So if it's a respiratory virus, you breathe it in. If it's a digestive virus, you eat it. The virus gets in you. Once the virus is in you, the virus has to attach to your cells. That's the first step. It's called attachment and entry. So the virus will use its spikes, if it has spikes, and it will attach to receptors on your host cells. So for example, if it's a respiratory cell, it usually attaches to special receptors on respiratory cells. So now we have attachment. After the virus attaches, it releases its genetic material inside the host cell. The host cell is your cell. Viruses can either be DNA viruses, meaning they have DNA, or RNA viruses, meaning they have RNA. An example of a DNA virus is chickenpox. An example of an RNA virus is coronaviruses. So when you have the virus, it attaches, it releases its genetic material, DNA if it's a DNA virus, RNA if it's an RNA virus, and now the virus will use your own enzymes, your own ribosomes, your own material to make copies of its genetic material. So it will make copies of its genetic material, and then it will convert that genetic material into viral particles. So if it's a DNA virus, the DNA will get replicated using your own enzymes, and then the DNA will get transcribed and translated into viral proteins using your own machinery. If it's an RNA virus, that RNA will make copies of its RNA. It will use a special protein called RNA-dependent RNA polymerase, and then that RNA will get converted into viral protein. Now, once we have that viral protein will get put together. It will get assembled. So we have attachment, genetic material release, assembly, the viral particles get put together, and then the virus has to get released from the cells so that it can infect nearby cells. And so then we have release. That release, the virus can either bud off, or it can cause your cells to lyse and die and release a lot of other viruses. And that's how viruses replicate. And in terms of this whole cycle, a lot of times this cycle causes fatigue because it's using all your machinery, and also it causes an immune response. A lot of times that can be inflammation. Inflammation is what's causing the pain, like pharyngitis, inflammation of your throat, and that's viral replication cycle.